Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about what items you need if you're going to start selling on Poshmark. Items can vary from person to person. It just kind of depends on personal preference, but I'm going to start with some items that every reseller or person that wants to sell their personal items on Poshmark does need, just so before you list anything, you are prepared. Poly mailers you can get on Amazon. You can also get some on eBay, but I have like a palm tree pattern and my husband got these for me for Christmas. And then you can also order these from the United States Postal Service website, and I stock up on these almost every quarter. And you can also get some inside of the post office, but I just like to order them so they're right at your doorstep or they're right in your mailbox, and there's all different sizes. So if you're shipping shoes and then sweaters and accessories that are smaller, you need to get a range of sizes. Just be prepared, because you never know if you want to sell something and then you don't have a box for it. You can also put things in other boxes to recycle, but I just like to have these on hand so I just don't have to worry about it. Next is tape, and I honestly need to invest in a tape gun. I don't know why I haven't gotten one yet, but I go through these a lot. It's usually pretty thick on the roll, but you definitely need tape. You'll use a lot of this. There's also an alternative to this if you don't want to tape your labels down. I actually have a Dymo and I haven't used it yet. It's just sitting. I need to set it up with my computer, but that way you can just print the labels out and you don't have to worry about adding extra waste like tape to your packages. But this still comes in handy if you need to like tape the side of a package, or if a package seems to be coming undone or you want it a little more secure. I will also show you the Dymo just because I just got it for Christmas and it's honestly new to me, but I just want to show you what it looks like just in case you want to go that route. This is a Dymo. It is a label maker and it prints out the perfect size labels for Poshmark. They come in a roll like this, and I think one roll actually came with it. My husband, I believe, bought it off Amazon, and it also comes with some test strips, so if you're first starting out, just to make sure that you get it right and you're not wasting a ton of labels. But this saves you so much tape, so much time, and if you make multiple sales, you can just print off all the labels. Just make sure that you don't send the wrong sale to a person, because I thought about that, like if I printed out 5 labels and then I got the label on a wrong box. So that's the only thing I can see that can be tricky with this, but definitely look into this. I think they are over $100, but it's so worth it if you ship a lot. Another thing I would recommend is getting a printer. If you don't want to get a Dymo, but you do want to invest in a printer, definitely do that, because you might want to print out like your Posh sales or the labels, stuff like that. You might need that more than the Dymo printer itself, because the Dymo printer is just going to print out labels, where your printer can print a lot of other things rather than just Poshmark. So my printer is a Brother printer and it's wireless and I love it. It's never wore out on me. I've had it for about 3 years now, and I highly recommend getting one if you don't do the Dymo, or you can do both just like I have, because it kind of makes it easier to just stick the label on. It's just all what you want for your convenience. The next things are scissors and ribbon. And you don't need the ribbon. This is just something that I sometimes add to bundles. If you say you sell like 3 shirts and then you also have an accessory in there, sometimes I just tie it with ribbon just to make it look a little nicer after I wrap it in tissue. As for scissors, if you don't get a Dymo label maker, you're gonna need to cut out your labels and tape them on. And then you never know if you need to cut like a loose thread or something like that on a garment. So this is really handy to have as well. Another thing, especially if you have dogs or cats that shed, this comes in handy, a lint roller. I do not want my customers or buyers online to experience a bunch of dog hair when they open up their product. So we have literally probably like 3 of these or 4 of these huge lint rollers stocked in our cabinet, because I roll every single garment once or twice before I ship it out, because I don't want somebody to, again, open up the package and then suddenly my dog's hair is there. She actually isn't allowed in this room. She sometimes accidentally walks in here, but I don't let her roam around. I don't let her roll on the clothes or anything like that just to keep it nicer. But this, dander's in the air everywhere. This keeps it nicer, and I just give it one roll just to make sure, and that keeps my reviews clean. And I do tell people I have a pet if they ask, but I tell them that I do lint roll everything, and my reviews reflect that. So that's very important. Just know that if you have a pet and you haven't thought about that, because even though you can't see the hair, sometimes in different lighting, if they open it up somewhere else, it might be there. So I highly recommend these. Another thing that you will use nonstop is a tape measure. And I have used this countless times. I don't use the big ones just because they're bulky and they're not really practical for reselling. So this one I got when I went to Posh Fest, and honestly, you can get these on Amazon. They're probably under, I would say, $5 to $7. You can even get like a pack for $10. So highly recommend these. Some people, they really want to know their measurements, and I'm a person, when I buy something on Poshmark, I want to know how long it is, or the length across, just because I like my shirts a certain length and I don't want them to feel super, super tight. So highly recommend a measuring tape, because you're going to get questions on inseams and stuff like that. Or you can also put it in your listing before you even list the item. So that is recommended as well, but regardless, you're still going to need this. A lot of resellers, they take their inventory and they wrap them in plastic garment bags. But honestly, I'm trying to reduce my waste, and it's nothing against people that do that, because it does keep you extremely organized. But I'm trying to get away from plastic, since I already use poly mailers, and there's already people, throwing away the boxes and the poly mailers and the label and the tape and everything like that. So I wrap mine in tissue. I've always wrapped my sales in tissue, and then I can tie some ribbon around it, but I don't always do the ribbon. But tissue, I feel like it's more biodegradable, and it still protects the garment. I know that plastic still would protect the garment more, but I've never gotten a complaint that the garment wasn't protected enough or anything like that. So if you don't want to use plastic, this is a good alternative. You can get tissue at Home Goods and Marshalls. There's probably 100 sheets for $2, or you can get a ton on Amazon for really cheap as well. So I just recommend tissue, but if you want to use plastic garment bags, those are on Amazon as well, and they're really cheap. So either way, just keep your garment protected, because you don't want somebody to open up the item and it's just not in anything. It's just thrown in the box, because then it looks like you kind of don't care. The next thing is a thank you note, and I made these on Vistaprint. It says, "Thank you for your order." It has my Poshmark closet and my Instagram, and I just really like how they turned out. I'm actually going to redo these, just because my colors and stuff on Instagram have changed a bit. But this is just a really nice little thing to add on top of the items, and it kind of just makes them feel like, wow, I helped you out, and this is just kind of an extra touch. So I highly recommend Vistaprint, because you can get, you could half a year ago get 100 for $10 or something like that. But there are other places online as well that you can get a pretty good deal on business cards. You just have to kind of design your own. And I use these as thank you notes rather than doing a card and an envelope. So I don't even have to write on them. I just kind of throw this in there, and then they can also go to my Instagram as well. Another thing that you can do, and this is totally optional, but I have thank you stickers, and I put these on every box or every poly mailer I send out. It's just another extra thank you, thanking the person that took the time to go to my closet and search through my items and buy something. I just think that's really cool that, you can make money online. So I just want to thank everybody that literally shops in my closet. But this is just the extra thing that I do besides the thank you note. I just think this is kind of the final touch for me. And since I don't use plastic, this is probably the only stickery plastic thing I do use, other than the poly mailers. So again, I try to stay away from plastic, but you can't do everything plastic free unless you really, really, really would try. But I just like the extra touch, so this is just an optional thing. Another thing that comes in handy is a notebook, and I got this one at Marshall's. It was $5, and in here I write down my inventory. I write down what I bought stuff for. I keep some receipts in here, but these are from last year. I have a new receipt system that I will show you. Just kind of like thoughts for YouTube videos or thoughts for Instagram posts. Just stuff like that I keep in here, and it's kind of messy, but it's like my kind of organized messy. So I highly recommend a notebook if you're a brain that has to write stuff down and loves lists, because I love lists, and this is just where I keep it all. Wet wipes, I talked about this in my how to sell on Poshmark video. This is just a must-have. Honestly, not even just when you're packing stuff up and reselling stuff in your posh room, or you know, just an area in your house, but when you're out and about sourcing and at the bins, anything like that, these are definitely a must. I just kind of keep them in a pocket or in a bag, and when I'm boxing stuff up here, I don't do it when I box up clothes because I wash all the clothes, but if I'm boxing up like shoes and stuff and I need to wipe my hands off really quick and not wash them, I use one of these, and they're just really good to have, again, like $1 or $2 at Target or Walmart. This is also optional, and I found this at Target, and I started thinking last year, I really started getting into reselling, and I wanted to keep all my receipts just to see kind of what my profit was doing and like how it was trending, and if I was making, you know, X amount of dollars and everything like that. So I found this little, it's a coupon holder, and I know I say coupon, I know it's coupon, but I'm from the Midwest, so maybe that's a thing here. Anyway, every month, and it has, I think it has enough for every month, but I've been keeping my receipts that when I go to consignment stores, thrift stores, if I find something at a Marshall's or something and I want to flip it, I keep that receipt in here. And it's not because I want to take stuff back, it's because if I want to look back every month at my profit versus what I spent, I think that's going to be really fun at the end of the year. So I have January and February in here right now, and then I will just keep going. It's just something that's really good to hold on to, and you can also track your mileage as well. That's a good thing. But definitely, this is from Target, so I would recommend even looking on Amazon, because stuff like this is on there as well. If you're an organized person, again, like me, definitely look into getting one of these. I also have this little bag I keep everything in. It just has little cacti all over it, and I found this, again, Home Goods, or yeah, it was Home Goods. I go to Home Goods, Marshalls, and TJ Maxx a lot. So again, this was like clearance. I think it was like $4. I keep some poly mailers in here. I keep the tissue in here, the tape in here. So anytime I make a sale, I grab a poly mailer, I grab a thank you note, I grab my thank you stickers, and then everything else is in here, and then I can kind of grab from my IKEA cart, which I have behind the camera. It's just really easy to roll back, and then this is really easy to hang back up. So I try to make things really, really simple, because when you have like 3, 4, 5 sales at a time and you don't want to mess with a bunch of stuff everywhere, it's good to have like one designated section, and then I have another for just like packing stuff up. So don't make it complicated on yourself. Get a bag and maybe get an IKEA cart, because it's so worth it. So there are 2 things I want to talk about before I end this video, and the one is acetone. And I was like wondering, how am I going to use acetone, because I saw it all over Instagram one day. It was literally one day where I saw it like 2 to 3 posts about acetone and removing marker on the bottom of shoes. If you have a Goodwill like me, and I have an example because I haven't cleaned these yet, that marks their shoes on the bottom with the price that they're selling it for. My local Goodwill does this all the time, and I hate it. I wish they would just put like a sticker inside the shoe or on the bottom, but they probably just don't want it to fall off because, you know, people are moving shoes around all the time. But I hate this. So what you can do is get a cotton swab and then use some acetone. You need to be very gentle with it, because, you know, if acetone gets everywhere, it can actually ruin the shoe or ruin your carpet. But just kind of like dab that area of the marker and it comes right off. Do be careful though with certain shoe surfaces, like if they're rough or if they're harder, I wouldn't recommend this as much, but if they're slick like this, it will come right off and it'll look like a brand new shoe. So definitely look into just getting an acetone for reselling. Even, you know, if you just put it in your little cart, this is something good to have on hand. And the last little thing is Goo Gone. I haven't opened this one up yet, but I have needed this so much before. If there's like gum on the bottom of a shoe, if there's sticker residue on something, even if it's like a home good that you bought or a shoe, a purse, anything like that, Goo Gone can really help with that. And it's super, super cheap. I got the acetone and Goo Gone at Marshall's, so honestly, Marshall's will probably be your best friend if you want to stock up on all this stuff, or Target. But definitely keep this in your cart as well. I hope that helps, and that is just kind of what you need to get started on Poshmark. I know everybody's reseller kit or, you know, just seller kit is a lot different, and it can range from person to person, but definitely at the beginning of this video, you need all that stuff to sell on Poshmark, because if you don't have shipping supplies and you don't, you know, like wrap your stuff really nicely, or you don't get a good review because you didn't do something, you know, the way the buyer thought you should, it's just good to like think as a consumer and like you're running a business kind of in a way. But nothing is very expensive, and if you need any links or you want me to tell you where I got anything that I might have not said, I can do that. It's not very hard to start selling on Poshmark. I know a lot of people just don't want to jump into it because they think it's so complicated, but it's really not, and you just kind of have to stay on top of your closet. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, I obviously love it. It's my little side gig that's just morphing every day. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye!